So hubby's gone to work a little while ago, so I thought I would do this video with a voiceover. Now I want no judging. I'm doing the best that I can with the time I've got, and obviously how I'm feeling at that time. Now this is what happens when I don't do the reset at night. Just a few minutes, especially when all members of the family do take charge and spend that 5 minutes before you go to bed, just to straighten up so you can come down to a fairly tidy space. I've got a lot of clutter, hot spots that have arisen. Once clutter starts, it seems to increase. I don't know if anybody else feels like that. I do, and that's why I try and tidy my spaces up. Now, it's took a bit of self-talk to myself and maybe bribing myself to try and get started. Years ago, I remember, even when I was working full-time, admittedly we didn't have all the stuff we've got now. This is before we had a family, obviously a lot younger and everything. Yes, and I could actually do the housework. First of all, it was in a couple of hours from top to bottom. I used to have maybe a little bit of time off on a Friday, flexi time as I did when I worked for this company, and I could get everything done. Then hubby used to come home and we used to have fish and chips, and I hadn't had to worry about anything for a week. Then as the family developed and systems change, your life changes, I used to be able to do it in half a day. Now I'm lucky if I can get it done in a day, and I haven't done a day's clean for I don't know how long. It's a case of just doing what you can at that time for whatever time I've got. So what I'm doing now is what I originally would have done for my reset. This is following the weekend as well. Obviously things got put down. We were not in our home very much over the weekend. We was out and about, and it's been the same all last week for myself and rest of the family, sorting out family issues. My mum's still in hospital, as I keep mentioning, and this is why it was ideal to get those basics done. And after the time I did, we kept this is from the caravan, actually, this torch. I had the small ones in my bag because we were for a second weekend car hunting and everything, and our son's been coming with us and sort of shining torch underneath in the engine and everything. I'm just wiping our trays down. Yes, I must admit, it must be over a week, if not longer. We've actually not sat at the dining room table. It's just relaxing. So no judging. Whatever I do, I'm doing the best that I can. And I know Anne from Chatty Batty says stop apologising, but I think there is the case that, especially if it's somebody that's just come across on your channel, that they haven't seen the background, they don't understand what's going on in your life, and everything's not perfect. This is blood pressure monitor. I have actually had to do it for my GP, and I know for a fact a couple of times I didn't do it, and I'm sure my blood pressure was quite high, rushing there and everywhere. I've got behind with my own appointments and sort of my visits sometimes to my mum. It's a bit of guilt. It's suffering because I'm having to deal with not myself but another family members' issues and get that sorted. This medication box is working really well. This is my sort of clutter spots. I've got notebooks there and I'm keeping a record of how I feel on that day. Headaches, blood pressure, sugar levels and everything like that, plus a pad for any phone calls. This came off the front door. It's one of those things, if it takes a minute or less, just do it. And I must admit, a family member just picked it up off the floor and put it on the table, and that's where it stayed overnight. I'm just clearing bits and pieces off of the table again. This is coming down to the 10 item pickup. These are the batteries from Poundland. They don't last 5 minutes, not in the controller. These are actually Tesco's. These are the ones that I took out of my blood pressure monitor, and this is the first time I've had to change them. But I've put in temporary some other batteries, which is the Poundland ones, but every family member has said that they don't last. Now, one of my son's alarms gone off, so I'm just taking him a cup of tea. Some of this is not going to be in real time because I keep stopping, checking my video, editing it as I go along. Again, these are just things that have sort of grown over the weekend. This is a gizmo, a little attachment, a chip thing from our Kia that actually replaced. This was a packaging that was from the new piece for our car, and the cardboard, instead of being put in the recycle bin, just got left. Something else that's happened, and I picked up the packaging off the floor, is on our behalf, our son ordered batteries. We like the Amazon ones, and I think it came to about £52 because we've got 100 AAA and 100 AA batteries, and we swear by these, so it was worth doing it because we keep replacing the batteries from Poundland in our remote for our TV, and they're not lasting 5 minutes, even though the batteries are in date. I don't know if anybody else, maybe you can comment down below if you've had Poundland batteries, how have you found them? I haven't found them very good, so I'm going to stop buying them, and we've gone back to these Amazon. We do have certain things where we have rechargeable batteries, and they can run a bit expensive, but on the long run for certain items they're brilliant, like when hubby's using his vape, and also the GoPro, it's got rechargeable batteries. This is something else that was put down. This is the old doorbell. We've got a new one. Hubby put that up last night, and I've just put a few little bits at the side. You might think, crikey, why don't you just put it all in sort of piles? It depends how I feel. Some things I put right away. I'm getting my exercise in as well. Other things I've put in a little pile, like the doorbell will be on one of those videos, what's coming in and what's going out of our home, and the batteries need to go up in the games room. But I didn't want to disturb our son, although he was in the process of getting up, but I just wanted to see if I could get the lounge dusted and straightened up. I'm loving this shelf here now that came from the corner of the lounge, the other corner, and I like it because I can display my pieces, and I'm really pleased how these turned out. This is sort of love Valentine's and everything like that, but this decor can actually stay there up until I change it for spring if I want, because it doesn't actually scream Valentine's, and it all actually flows into my decor, so I'm really pleased. The box that went under that little coffee table that I put the sleeping bag, this is what happened last night. I was that drained. I managed to cook a meal and sort of got semi-cleared up in the kitchen, but my dining room looks just like a laundrette again, and you'll be seeing footage of that very shortly. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be, whether I'm going to put it all in one video or a number of different parts. I'm really not sure how this is going to go. I've planned it a little bit, but I'm also, as hubby often says, I'm winging it. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to get done. Originally, it was just going to be a straighten up, reset day, but then I started dusting the lounge due to the fact you could actually write your finger in the dust. So I thought, hey ho, let's have a go and see what I can do. A bit of bribery, and I'm thinking if I get everything done what I want to do to a certain point, either, dare I say, not quit, but, sort of find a place to stop, then I will stop. But I want to try and get as much done through the day. Excuse any clocks, because like I said, I will be stopping and starting this video and getting other things done in between, whether it's laundry. I'm going to try and not spend time on the phone. I'm trying to have a day where I don't have to deal with any issues. I know that sounds awful, but I need to grab control back of my home. Now, there's that sort of seesaw business, from wishing and wanting to what is needed and reality. And this basically is reality. And it's just, even though I'm doing my basics, I have fallen behind with so much that even the odd family member has turned around and says, I don't believe it. Mum doesn't normally let it go this way, the home, it can't be helped. They do help where they can, but I do feel a sense of guilt. I will ask for help if I really need it, but they both work such long hours and I don't work, but there is certain things, little things that I managed to get done during in and out over the weekend, and things need to be replaced. Decorating needs to be done. This, like I said last year, but I had a lot of health issues beginning last year. This year, a little bit better, but the only problem is I've got family issues, family illnesses, and everything is just fallen behind. I'm just unscrewing the legs. I've put a place now behind that sofa, so this table's been up a number of days, but I'm not getting rid of it. I'm seeing how it works, because there's the other coffee table that I used to have at the side of me that's now near the black unit under the window, whether to cut the legs down on that. But I'm not going down that route at the moment. I'm waiting to see how things work out. But unscrewing these legs, it doesn't take that long, and then I can put the legs behind that sofa along with the tabletop. I know I might be sort of going backwards and forwards between what I'm doing and things that I'd like to discuss and sort of fill you in. But hey ho, like I keep saying, you do what you can. And this today is trying to get back of my home, the control of my home, and hopefully a day of control of my own life. There's quite a lot of my systems that are working. You know when things are working because you don't get in the messes. Although in my mind there's a difference between mess and clutter. And I know for a fact we do have those hot spots. I am actually trying to reduce those hot spots, but they're the places where, things get looked into. Like paperwork, I've got now a basket of paper clutter so that the paperwork goes in that basket, and then I distribute between family members to get it sorted. I've incorporated now 5 minutes a day to sort out my paperwork, and I brought this up in a previous video. Very often I set my timer for 5 minutes, but then I end up 10 or 20 minutes. But sometimes if you just say a couple of minutes or 5 minutes, even if you set an egg timer, an oven timer, whatever timer on your phone, just to do it for a couple of minutes, it's surprising what you can get done. And very often, if you're like me, 5 minutes, I can manage that. And then you'll probably continue with whatever you're doing and just proceed, as I say, and get things done. I'm just giving everything a sort of surface clean where it needs to be done, and I'm addressing those areas that obviously can't wait. And so I think I can get there as long as I pace myself through the day. But I know for a fact when I sort of stop to address something else, which is what's happened previously when I try to do some sorting out. I empty the contents of a drawer or cupboard or whatever, and then the phone goes, and then, oh, right, okay, shove it all back because I don't want to come back to that mess and I don't know what time I will be back. That's what's been happening. Don't want it to happen today. As far as I know, all appointments for everybody at the moment has been dealt with. I've got a couple of phone calls to my own GP and a family member, but today is a day control. I need control back, else I feel as though I'm screaming in my head, and I'm just putting one foot in front of the other basically. And I feel as though as long as you're taking those steps forward, try not looking back, then every little bit helps. And that's how I feel, and that's how I'm looking at today. I really hope that I'm not sending you to sleep or you feeling this is so boring, but instead of actually sort of sitting in front of a camera talking and, you know, sort of, I haven't done one of those, I think, for a little while now, I must admit. So I thought, well, when I get my breaks with my drink, then I'll sort of do a voiceover and sort of fill you in a few bits and pieces. And I do apologise if I do start repeating myself. But as this video is going through the day, and I don't know if it's going to be in a number of parts or not, you know what I'm saying. It's remembering what you're doing. Sometimes I'm just speaking onto this video. I'm not even looking what I'm doing. I'm just sort of probably looking at the ceiling even and thinking, well, I'd like to say this, I'd like to say that. And I sort of like you being in the same sort of room or face to face, that sort of thing. This is not perfect. I am not perfect. I admit that. I put my hands up, and sometimes I know things are not working. And, you know, when you've got those times like this has been going on, it's not been a few days, it's not been weeks. We're on to like over the second month now of things going wrong in my life. Family, everything's gone wrong. We've had to write off our Picasso. The tumble dryer's been replaced. The doorbell's been replaced. Those little issues, sometimes I can let them sort of go over my head, thinking, you know, we've had a few scares recently with different family members, that sometimes those are the things that probably would have got me down and sort of brought me right down. I'm thinking, oh, well, yeah, it's only money. It can be replaced. Life can't. And I think there's that sort of issue where I keep saying the seesaw, that against guilt to what you should be doing. Whatever you do, I think a lot of sort of new mums and everything, or, you know, when you're trying to run a home, you've got a baby, you've got children, you've got a job, and whatever you do, whatever doesn't get done, there's that sense of guilt. I've been down that road. I'm still trying to address those issues, but other times I'm thinking, hey ho, which is one of my sayings recently, which I keep saying, is that, oh well, what's the worst that can happen? Life, family, friends, relationships, that's what's important. Yes, I like to have a tidy home. It's not perfect, but I'm doing what I can. And if it's from cleaning a room to addressing an issue with a family member that can't wait, obviously that family member is going to take presidency over a clean home. But sometimes, like today, it has actually got me down. It did last night. Again, we put Clarkson on, the Clarkson Farm. We're on season 2 on Prime, And I was having a good laugh at it. We watched the first season again. We watched it when it was released originally. We've just watched watching the second season, which we watched most of it in one evening, back to back, and having a meal in front of the TV, just turning a blind eye to all the mess. I said to myself, no, I'm not going to feel guilty. Yes, we didn't get the reset done for the day before. Maybe if I'd done that, I walk in the lounge this morning and think, yeah, okay, it looks tidy. But no, it didn't take that long. And I'm having a little bit of giggle here because I know I'm ranting, maybe raving, whatever you like to say. But like I keep saying, this is just me, and if I can get just a little bit done today, even if it takes me all day, maybe I get sidetracked, I've got a bit of bribery, I'd like to read a bit of my book, I'd like to have a relaxing bath with a nice bubble bath or a bath bomb, I'd like to watch a movie, I'd like to do things that I want to do without feeling guilty. So, you know what? Let's get on. And every time I'm going to say that, I remember another favourite of mine, a YouTuber, and she's Canterbury Cottage, and she's a lovely lady. And she often says, now let's get started. And that just keeps coming in. It's surprising what you pick up. Like kids, they imitate you, like I remember our boys saying, just wait a minute. I'm thinking, do I really sound like that? And it's surprising how things have picked up. It's like our granddaughter, she waltzes round, especially if she happens to be on my mobile phone or something. She's sort of walking around, and she's even put it the phone sometimes between sort of a ear, neck and shoulder. And I'm thinking, she's imitating one parent. And I guess it's her mum, or tutting, or when she's talking to someone, she's got her sort of hands on her hips sort of thing. And that's sort of thing what you pick up. Some things can be good habits, some can be bad habits. And I have got quite a few different YouTubers I follow depending on the mood, what I'm doing, what I need from that particular channel, if that makes sense. This place here is obviously sons and hubby's sort of clutter spot. I'm just trying to straighten up. It's surprising. I'm loving this rediffuser. I think it's cotton or linen, one of the two, and they're only 80p. I keep buying this one, so I'm going to see if I can get a larger one because I really do like it. I don't very often burn candles now, and also when I do stop sort of filming, I've written things down. At the moment I've got things like that black unit in the corner, it's got all my Beanie Bears. I am actually thinking about not moving that piece of furniture, but I've had it on the cards to change it round a bit. I might even be using my internal bow china for every day. And before anybody starts saying, oh really, I know my mom would have said, oh, having best china, but I've had it so many years. I've had it for my 21st, for wedding gifts and everything, and basically we're lucky if it gets used once a year. To tell you the truth now, with all the issues going on and health issues within the family, I'm not so precious about things, and I'm thinking I'd get more enjoyment out of using that daily. I've got extra plates that sometimes I can pick odd bits up, or family members have picked odd pieces up to my internal bow, so I've got extra plates that if one does get broken. And I have got my IKEA plain white set, which is actually really now getting chipped and everything. This candle, yeah, going off topic again, I had for Christmas in a nice little goodie box from my son, daughter-in-law and granddaughter. This unit, this bookcase that came from the back doorway behind obviously the lounge door, is working out really well, and I am still considering at least staining it dark or painting it black just on the outside, and maybe leaving the lighter sort of wood look inside. But I'm loving it, as normally when we're home this door remains open and it just covers that little bit of mess. And I'm still thinking about putting some black and white gingham to cover that bookcase. I'm just wiping over the switches, but again, I've made a start, and sometimes that's the best thing. So I think I will actually upload this and see if you do like this sort of setup. And before I actually go on to doing the second, maybe third or fourth part, as it will be probably a very long video. So hopefully you've enjoyed part 1.